Not many people usually talk about the psychology or the emotion behind home loan interest rates in the mortgage backed security world and really how that affects buyers. And we really need to begin to understand that so we can predict or really have an expectation of what's going to happen in the first half of 2023, not just in home loan interest rates, but also in the housing market. We're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. We're also going to take a look at our Brent Bruce Daily home loan interest rates. And I want you to stick around because I have really good news on what's going on, especially with FHA. Now, this morning, the market started off pretty tough. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. So, first of all, this morning we get this information. Here's what America's top CEOs are saying about a possible recession in 2023. So basically just, getting comments from CEOs of multiple companies. And again, the negative tone of saying about a recession going into 2023. Well, recessions are not something that the general economy wants to hear about, but the home loan interest rate world actually does like to hear that because it's usually the effects or the aftermath of trying to get inflation under control. And remember that inflation is the enemy of bonds, and bonds are what actually give you home loan interest rate pricing. So let's take a look and see where we are on our charts for today. All right, here we go. So again, we opened up this morning down quite a bit. Right now, we're up 8 basis points on the MBS that we're watching. Look at the 10-year Treasury right now is down 7 basis points. We're kind of bouncing around this 100-day moving average. And, not too much of a move from yesterday, but definitely we've been fighting back from being under this Fibonacci level briefly. Okay, so the charts are what really show us the psychology that I'm talking about. I want you to understand that, we think about investors and the Wall Street and all these different things. And, we don't really sometimes think about the fact that these are still just individuals making decisions. Okay. So there is emotion behind the decisions that are being made. Now, of course, they have statisticians and all kinds of computer technology, but a large portion of the market is also just individual investors, whether they're day traders or just you or I, or on Robinhood or whatever the case may be. So there is emotion behind all of these moves. And this is where you can see this. Let's take a look at the charts here. Now, why do we watch things like Fibonacci levels and moving averages, 25-day, 50-day, 100-day? Because the investment community needs to have something to basically use as a benchmark. Okay, so I don't know if that's the right term, but basically they're saying, look, okay, I'm going to invest and I'm going to buy, but I think that once we hit that 50-day moving average, that's enough for the day. That's enough for the day. I don't feel comfortable that we should be over the 50-day moving average. So it gives them a number to shoot for, okay? Same thing with Fibonacci levels. So this is something that if you were to go further back, you would see that this was some sort of strong floor or ceiling that has become a Fibonacci level. And this is something that they want to use. And you can see how realistic it is that they go above it and below it and above it and below it. And they use these as tethers or benchmarks for deciding when it's time to buy or sell. How far have we gone in either growth or in recession of the price of the mortgage-backed security, or whether you're talking about a stock like IBM or anything else? They all use these technical indicators to make decisions as to, what, I think that we're over the 100-day moving average. Let's take a breath. Okay, the 100-day moving average is something that we broke above, which is a little bit more difficult to break above because it is a longer term average. So they are pulling back. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to show that it is emotional. So let's go over here and take a look at another indicator that we talk about quite often on the 10-year Treasury. So the 10-year Treasury, I have said before in my reports that I think that the 4.0 is a psychological floor or ceiling. Okay. Now look, there's no line here. There's no Fibonacci line. There's no moving average line. But yet, if you go back and you look at how many times it's either closed just above or just below this number. Boom, boom, boom. All these numbers are just bouncing around that 4.0. Because think about it. Again, these are just people. And when you say like, oh, it closed at 3.95, like let's say that you're going to go buy a car. Do you want to pay $39,000 or do you want to pay $40,000? Something psychological about saying 40,000, even though 39,000 is basically 40,000. But these are the psychological numbers that actually do play a part in investing. Okay, there's people behind all of this. Now, why does that matter to us as far as the mortgage-backed security market and home loan interest rates? Because in general, we have found that, statistically, we're mixing this together with statistics and emotion. People in general in the United States do not like to see their home loan interest rate over a certain number. So just like we don't want to pay $40,000, but we'll pay $39,000 for that car, people in general do not want to pay more than the 5% range for a home loan interest rate. So when you start getting into the sixes and the sevens, over the past 30, 40 years, it's been put into the psyche of the American population that is considered a high interest rate. Now, it really isn't if you were to go way back 100, 150 years and look at interest rates. But right now, it matters the emotion and it matters the psychology that we're dealing with. So when you get into the sixes and sevens, what happened? Everybody just started to really shut down on the buying side, right? Things really slowed down. Even those who could afford the payment of a certain house at a 7% rate basically just said psychologically something isn't right with that and I don't want to purchase, and they postponed, waiting for lower interest rates. So what are the lower interest rates? What is it that they're looking for? Twos? Everyone understands that that's probably not realistic. The number that they're looking for psychologically in general is in the fives. Okay, so they want to be in the fives. Even 5.875, I'll pay that, but I ain't paying 6. Okay, psychological. Fives is where people want to be or below. Okay, that is what we have found. So where are we currently on our home loan interest rates, and what is it going to take to get into those comfortable fives? Well, let's take a look. Excuse me. So let's go over to the Brent Bruce Daily and look at the conventional 30-year fixed, very well qualified, 25% down that we look at every day. Where are we? Now, remember, we were at 5.99% for just a moment on Friday. We are not any longer. Yesterday, we were at 6.375, and now we are at 6.25. Again, a little bit of improvement today in the interest rates, even though we are only up 6 basis points on our mortgage-backed security. We are still showing 6.25% with a little bit of a credit here on a 30-year fixed conventional loan. Let's take a look here and look at the parameters. Now stick around because I'm going to show you some really good news here. Okay, so here's our parameters. Let's close this up. All right, so what is it going to take to get into the fives, right? That's the question that we were really asking after learning about this psychological number. Well, guess what? For less than a point, you're at 5.999. For 1 point, you're at 5.875. So guys, if you can get a seller to pay 1 point for a well-qualified 30-year fixed conventional home loan, we are going to be able to offer 5.875%, and they are going to be psychologically much happier than 6.0. You need to make sure that you're reaching out to the right people so that you can offer that type of rate today, okay? So let's go over here now and look at the other thing that I wanted to show you, which is how are we doing on our FHA? Since we're trying to get into those fives, and we want to show 5 so that people feel comfortable pulling the trigger on buying a house. Where are we? FHA, very well qualified, 5.625 right now, today, with a credit. Right now. Where are we as far as our parameters? Oh, you know what, Brent? Who has an 800 FICO score that's using FHA? Okay, fair enough. How about a 680? Let's run a 680. Where are we now? 5.75. 5.75% on a 30-year fixed FHA loan, 680 FICO score with $94 in credit. Now, once again, what about if we pay a point? What about if the seller is willing to pay a point for you? You're at 5.5% on a 30-year fixed FHA loan with 3.5% down and a 680 FICO score today. Now, here's what you need to understand. If you're not hearing these numbers from your lenders, then you got to talk to them or you got to find another lender, okay? Because right now there are mortgage bankers or all kinds of people out there that are telling people that the rates are in the mid 6s or the low 7s. That is not going to do it psychologically for your buyers. That's not going to do it. They want to hear 5s, and 5s are here, and they're here right now. I expect that home loan interest rates are going to continue to go down into the first and second quarter of next year. I've even said that I think we're going to be at 4.875% or lower by July the 1st. And everything is looking like that's going to play out for us. Now, as interest rates come down and the general population, so the larger population of lenders, start to offer interest rates in the fives as rates come down. Like, for instance, when I'm offering a 5.25 and now they're offering a 5.875, their buyer is now going to want to purchase because they're psychologically in the fives. So the rest of the market is going to pour back into the housing market, and all of a sudden they're going to start gobbling up the inventory. What you have right now is you have the fives today. You have the fives right now when there's still not a tremendous amount of people lining up at every nice home that is for sale. So my suggestion is take advantage of the lower demand that necessarily is out pulling the trigger on making offers today with our interest rates that we have or that some other people have available if you find the right people, before there is just this massive wave of buyers that come out and now you're back in a bidding war. Now, if you buy now and interest rates continue to go down, you could always refinance as well. Or we can use a 2-1 or a 3-1 buy down. I mean, there's just a lot of opportunity. I'm going a long way into this, and I'm not just trying to sell my company, but I'm trying to tell you that if you can't find any buyers that are willing to pull the trigger because the interest rates are too high, are you talking to me? Are you talking to someone like me that has the true rates of today, or are you talking to banks that are offering 6.5%, 7.5%? That's probably going to make a big difference. Let me know if I can help out. My contact information is always below. If I can't help you, I can probably find somebody who can. I'll talk to you again soon. Keep you posted. Thanks a lot for watching it all the way through. Have a great day.